Hello babes, and welcome back to another video on my channel. We are back with another crocheting tutorial, and this time I want to discuss open meshes. Thank you so much for the love and support so far. It means a lot to me, so thank you so much. I got less difficult yarn this time. The other yarn was kind of confusing to look at, but first we're going to start off with a slip knot, and that's done by taking your string and pulling it into an A shape, twisting it, pulling one strand through, and then forming it into a loop. From that, you're going to have a working strand and a dead strand as seen here, and I'm going to tighten it and make it snug. Too tight though, I mean, at least for me, because this yarn is still kind of thick, but you know, I just want to get it, you know, tight enough. And then I'm going to do a chain stitch of 13, be a total of 16 chain stitches. After the 13th chain stitch, we are going to add 3. These additional stitches are usually done for the first chain. And then for the rest, the repeat, I'll show you that it's a different method. Kind of like how I said in my last video, which you should check out, the first extra lump sum that we chain is going to mimic the height of the stitch that we will be doing on this chain. Next, you're going to count 3 and then enter into the 4th open stitch. First, you're going to yarn over because we will be doing a double crochet stitch. You're going to insert to the active chain, and then you're going to yarn over again and pull through until you have 3 loops on the hook. Then we are going to take that yarn over and we're going to pull it through the first 2 loops. As you can see, I'm struggling here. Forgot that it was quite a tough yarn. Then you yarn over again and you're going to pull through the last 2 hoops and you'll have your double crochet stitch as you see here. And of course, as I said earlier, the additional lump sum is to mimic the height of the first stitch. After that, you're going to want to chain 1, and then we're going to enter in the same active stitch, a double crochet like we just did. As we went into the same active stitch, it's going to give you more of a V shape instead of like, you know, a square shape, like if you went into the next stitch, I guess. And like I said, same way as before, forming a V stitch. As you can see, it's pretty cute. Definitely not as open as the open mesh stitch, which I'm going to show you next, but you know, I still consider it an open mesh because it is pretty, you know, spacious with the stitch spacing and all that. Skipping the next 2 stitches, not 3 this time, it's going to be 2. We're going to go into the 1, 2, and then enter to the 3rd active stitch. As you see me counting here like an old lady. When you enter the 3rd active stitch, that's when you start the pattern over again with a double crochet. Remember to chain another one before you go and do your 2nd double crochet stitch. Then we start double crocheting into the same active stitch to form that V shape. Yarning over into the last 2 loops, and then we get 2 V shape patterns, or stitches I mean. Then one more time where we do a double crochet into 1st, 2nd, 3rd stitch from the last active stitch. Yarn over past the first 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over again and we're going to pass the last 2 loops. After we chain 1, then we do the same process over again in the same active chain. Same method as before. I went ahead and I finished the rest of the chain, getting 5 V stitches. Like I said, it's not going to be as open as the open mesh stitch, but it's still a great open mesh if you still want a little bit more detail. After you have your finished chain, we're now going to do the 2nd row. So ignore this lump right here, I accidentally broke it, but from this end point, we are going to chain a total of 3 chain stitches. Like I said, ignore that ugly tie. I broke it. After you chain 3, you're going to then flip your work so we can face the right way, at least for now. Now to start the second row, we are going to enter in the spaces that go in between the V. So I'm going to show you. That first space where it's in the middle of the V, we're going to do a double crochet. Of course, yarn over till you have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops and then the last 2 loops. Then you have your first double crochet stitch. You're then going to chain 1 and do another double crochet into the same active chain, which would be the middle of the V, double crochet into first 2 loops and then the last 2 loops. Now you have successfully started the second row, and you can kind of see how the pattern is going to look from here on out. Ignore this weird ugly part at the side. I'm not even sure what happened there. But what matters is you're starting the stitch in the correct spot. And of course, like the first time, we're going to double crochet into the next open V, pull through the first 2 loops, and then of course pull through the last 2 loops to start your first double crochet. Repeat that process again in the same active chain, active space, after the first chain that you do. You're going to double crochet, pull through the first 2 loops, and then pull through the last 2 loops, as so, and then you have your 2 double crochets in the same active space. That makes your second V pattern. She's cute. I haven't done this pattern in a while and I'm just wondering why, but definitely going to be doing this again for a recent project. This is super cute. I'm going to go ahead and do the same process to finish off this row, and I'll be right back. Here is the start of a V-stitch swatch, which I think looks pretty good. I think I kind of, showed the pattern pretty well for this material that I'm using. It's quite the tough yarn, which I definitely forgot. But better than last videos. I'm going to show you the open mesh stitch, which I should have shown you first because this is pretty much like a general open mesh, and I feel like it's way simpler. And yeah, let's get into it though. Of course, we're going to do a slip knot, pull the strand, pull it through, slip knot. Slow that, go back if you need to see it again. We're going to chain 13 stitches like last time, but this time we're also going to do an addition of 9 stitches. I know, but there's a method to this madness. Next, we are going to count the stitches until we find the 10th active stitch, because we're going to skip 9. So skip 9 and then find the 10th, I should say, open stitch, and that's the stitch we're going to be working with first. First, we're going to do a double crochet into the 10th open stitch. This is quite the simple mesh. It can be used for anything, and it looks pretty cool. So pretty simple mesh. It can be used for a lot of things. It's a pretty general open mesh stitch, and I really like it. It looks really cool. After your first double crochet stitch, you are then going to chain 3, and with chaining 3, you're going to count 3 open chains from the working chain that we have, or the active chain, and you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and then insert into the 4th open chain. And then into that open chain, we're going to do a double crochet, yarn over. You're going to have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over again, and you're going to pull through the last 2. I definitely felt like I did it more gently with this mesh. You can kind of get the gist of like what the mesh is going to look like, but there's actually a couple of different ways to work this simple mesh that I've learned so far. It's pretty versatile is what I'm trying to say. But of course, after the end of that next pattern, you're going to then count another 3 and work into the 4th active. Well, open stitch. Oh my lord, I keep switching them. I'm going to insert, yarn over. You're going to have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, and then pull through the last 2 loops on the chain. You have your next double crochet, making 3 open mesh patterns. I went ahead and I completed the row, and now we're going to start with the second row for this pattern. Starting a new row for this pattern, you're going to chain 6. Once you've chained 6, you're going to then turn your work so you're facing the right way for now, and you're going to then work this chain that you've done. You're going to work into the first mesh space that's available. When you're done with the double crochet, you're going to then chain 3 and then work this chain into the second available open mesh pattern from below. I went ahead and I finished the pattern, and this is the beginning of the swatch of the open mesh stitch. I think it is a pretty good pattern. It's one of the basic ones out there. It's pretty open as it suggests, and yeah, it's pretty cute. I love using them for various types of projects. So here are the 2 open mesh stitches that I have to offer for now. I hope you enjoyed these patterns. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if I need to explain things a bit differently, but yeah. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next crochet tutorial video. Bye.